How's it going, guys? Wanted to give a quick rundown before this video starts. So, how this whole video is about my Easton 50 arrow and then breaking and then my experience with customer service resolution, like just the whole process through from really being excited about an arrow to getting that arrow to having major problems with that arrow to reaching out to customer service, then the process through going through the customer service, then to getting the sending in the product broken, figuring it out, and going from there, and then to where we are now. So we're gonna hop on here with Easton, their vice president Tyson Yates, and also Mike from Alcoholics. He'll be joining me, and this is just the second part to the first part of the Easton 50 experience. Hope you guys enjoy it. Tyson, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the invite. My name is Tyson Yates. I'm Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Easton. I've been at Easton almost 10 years now. Passionate bow hunter, really mediocre target shooter, but I'm just happy to be here. And Ron, when you reached out to the customer service department originally, you and I connected, and maybe you can tell a little bit about that backstory of kind of how our relationship and knowing each other began.
Yeah, so I'll say at the beginning, I wish it would have started off a little different, but how it started was I'm a very passionate bow hunter as well. I'm not a great target archer. And
Well, we got that in common.
yeah, so I like to, I tinker a lot. Like I go down a lot of rabbit holes and stuff, and I love my setups and I love tinkering. Anyways, the 5.0s were like this big arrow coming out. There's a lot of hype behind it, and I was super excited. And I ended up getting them, and I was having this problem where they kept breaking. And I think I was so excited for it that I let it get to me and I got upset about it. And I'm like, well, I'm like overreacting. I'm like, oh, I gotta protect everyone. They're all exploding. I gotta tell people what's going on here. And then I got in contact with you guys, and yeah, that's how it turned out that me and you started talking was through my arrow breaking. And I will admit that I overreacted on that, and I didn't really think about as far as the other side of things, and I'll let you get into that in a little bit. But it was like, yeah. And the one thing I will say is that ever since the moment that I have made contact with Easton, it has been a delight. It has made me that much more of a diehard Easton guy. And the one thing I will say that you said to me that I will never forget, and I've told a lot of people, is that you said, if we cannot fix a problem and you're not happy with our arrows, we will get you credit to buy someone else's arrows. We just want you to be happy. And that's like a really selfless thing to say. And that speaks volumes. So I appreciate that a lot.
I mean, at the end of the day, what we all love is bow hunting, and we love to have confidence in our gear. I mean, that's I think what I
Yeah.
talked to you quite a bit about. Like what I train our sales team and our customer service team is we're selling confidence. I mean, people take most of my vacation every year I dedicate to hunting. You guys are probably the same way, right? So, I mean, it's more than just a hobby. I mean, it really is kind of like our lives. And I think that's where that passion comes in that you had, right? And when your confidence in a piece of equipment starts to diminish, my hope, and originally talking to you is I wanted to reinstill your confidence in Easton. But if I couldn't do that, I still want you to enjoy your experience bow hunting. So, for me, I wanted a satisfied customer, whether or not you're shooting our products. I could have got you a credit with one of our customers, one of our dealers, and you could have told you could purchase any arrow you want. So, and I'll kind of bring your followers, back to that day where we connected, that you'd had
Okay.
some problems, and then that someone sent me the YouTube video, and I was watching it, and I was concerned, just like you. I was like, gee, what the heck's going on? I mean, we test things very, extensively, and essentially what was happening, Ron, is, I mean, some of these arrows you'd only shot a couple of times, and they were breaking
Mhm.
right at the same place every time. And it's kind of a unique place for an arrow to break, especially not missing the target. I mean, arrows do break, right? Anybody that bow hunts or anybody that target shoots, if you haven't broke an arrow, you probably haven't been shooting long enough to miss a target or have something happen, right? But
Yeah.
I trusted your experience. Like, you've been bow hunting and shooting a bow for a while. You know what to expect, when an arrow should break, when it shouldn't. And you were just hitting the target, So first I thought, well, he's shooting a hay bale. Maybe it was frozen. Maybe it was soggy. I don't know what was going on. And you're like, no, I was shooting with a buddy. None of his arrows were breaking, just mine. Like, okay. So, what we did is we always want to get that product back. On every Easton arrow, I wish I had one here with me, but there's a serial number. It's really small. It's serial number on every arrow. It's really prominent on like FMJs, but it's typically right next to the spine laser mark. So there's your spine size, and it's probably going to be, it's hard
The
to pick
two,
up.
is it? Oh,
Yeah,
is it
Yeah.
on
it
the?
won't quite focus.
But nonetheless, I mean, take a look at your arrows, right? Typically, right next to where that size is marked, you're going to have a serial number. And I wanted to get it back, take a look at the serial number, and really dive into it. And what we found was a little bit of what my original suspicion was the first time we talked. I said it's an odd
Mhm.
place to break, and I've seen arrows get slammed in truck doors. I've seen them slammed in delivery truck doors. There's instances where maybe a forklift pinches them between pallet racks. I mean, different things happen. They happen in our building as well, but generally speaking, we take pretty big precautions. We handle these all the time. But when they get in a UPS or a FedEx or some other building, there sometimes isn't that same level of caution that we're going to take with our products, right? So when we started inspecting even the bag that they were shipped in, I had you do it for me on the phone, Ron. I'm like, what does the bag look like? You're like, the bag looks kind of rough, like
Yeah.
maybe this bag's been through something. And then we started noticing even on the arrows that hadn't broke, there was a pretty nice indentation, a mark, almost a ring all the way around the
Hmm.
shaft where it had impacted something or been stepped on, right? The whole dozen bags could have fell on the ground, and there could have been another arrow or a stick or something on the ground, and then just somebody stepping on it with that side load of like a corner. Arrows are real vulnerable to, if you ever want to really easily break a carbon arrow, put it up against like on the corner of a desk. It doesn't take much pressure down on one side to really put all of that load on just that one point of the edge of the table. They'll either break completely or put like a pretty nice crease in it, which is what had happened to your arrows. So then you get them, set them up and start shooting them, and basically the first time they hit a target, or within a handful of times they hit the target, they're breaking off right where that impact had happened. So, that's where you kind of, I overreacted. I mean, it happens, right? We get products, we get excited about them. They don't perform how we want it to. But I was relieved personally to find out upon inspection, like, okay, something else happened here. And then what I'd be interested, Ron, for you, maybe to tell your followers, we pretty immediately, I told you I wanted you to test another dozen 5.0s for
Yeah.
me. And I sent you another dozen 5.0s saying, hey, I want you to put these through, what to expect durability wise with a lightweight shaft. You've shot some from competitors, you've shot some of ours. I want you to shoot them and see if you still have a bad experience. And that's where you're like, well, I'm worried I'm going to get these and they're still going to be bad quality, and then I'm not going to be able to have arrows that I want. So I tell you what, these
Yeah.
arrows are on me. These are a test piece. The warranty for the dozen that you had issues with, we'll hold those for a rainy day, and you can choose a different product if you want it. And we haven't talked about it in a couple of weeks, Ron. So I'm catching you a little cold. But how has your experience been shooting that dozen that didn't have the damage that occurred likely in shipping?
So it has been what I thought it was gonna be. My hopes were at the get-go, and I literally was talking to Mike earlier today about it, about what we're gonna what my hunting setup is gonna be this year, and I'm gonna elk hunt with the 5.0. Um, this is the 12 right here behind me on my quiver and in my hip quiver. This is the same arrow that you sent, and I have already shot 3D events and everything. They are super strong for what they are. They are a lightweight shaft, so they're not going to be as strong, and they're thinner, but they are strong. I shot through a 3D deer, and it went through a tree, a jack fir, and I pulled it out, and it still shoots, and it still flies straight.
There you
So
go.
yeah, it's been
Well,
a
it's a
night
lot
and
more
day
of
for
what you
sure.
expected. And your comment's an interesting one. And it's true, right? When you go to a lightweight shaft, you're going to a higher modulus carbon. So modulus is one of those buzzwords that not many people know what it means. And some of the other aero manufacturers, modulus this, and we use the highest modulus. Okay, well, what modulus really means is it's basically the amount of material you need to put to hit a certain stiffness. So high modulus carbon is very stiff. So you don't need to put as much of it to get a 300 spine or a 340 spine arrow. So you use less material, and in turn you have a lighter arrow. The trade-off for that is going to be to some degree, it's not going to be as strong as like let's call it an axis, right? That's more of like a mid-range modulus. So, for the guys that are like your especially your traditional shooters that like to stump shoot and things like that, arrows, the right arrow for them is probably something more like an axis or an FMJ, or a Carbon Legacy, something with a little bit thicker wall. But similar to you, I like speed. I'm a speed
Hmm.
guy. I understand that trade off just a little bit. And I bow hunted or elk hunted last year with the 5.0 as an experimental arrow, and I killed a whitetail with it. I had some pretty good success with it in the field, and we've been testing that arrow in one form or another my entire time at Easton.
Wow.
It's been under development. So we have a very strict requirement for arrows to go to market. We have a lot of different rigorous testings that we bring arrows through. And we're the only arrow company that's manufacturing our products in the USA. Um, in a lot of ways, you could say we're the only company actually manufacturing our own products because we own the factory solely, and the factory is only making Easton products. And
Right.
so we're able to even test production runs and say, hey, we're going to do a sample of testing from each one of every production run that we make, making it very, very consistent to be able to deliver good quality to the end consumer, which at the end of the day is our focus. The big reason that, I connected with you is I was like, you know what? I still believe in what we do. We have made mistakes. So, hey, I want to look at these and make sure something crazy didn't happen. I mean, I was concerned at first, but then my goal was to get you to have confidence just in the brand, right? And say,
Yeah.
hey, we do make quality stuff. Like let's give this another try and see if we have an issue here. And it's just really cool to see, you've tried them, you brought them through the ringer, you had good success with it. I will precurse it with saying, Easton recommends if you ever miss a target, every time you shoot the arrow, we recommend you flex test your arrows. If you're confused or don't know how to do that, there's actually a website on every arrow we make. It's the Be Safe website, where it walks you through how to properly flex test an arrow prior to shooting it. So I'm super glad to hear that it held up for you going through a 3D deer and then even hitting a tree
Yeah.
after that. Like, that's super awesome.
Yeah.
Anytime that happens, I test pretty extensively, making sure that shaft hasn't been compromised in the process. So it's great to hear that one held up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great arrow, man. You guys knocked it out of the park with this 5.0. I mean, all your arrows are good quality, but the 5.0 for my taste, it's like hard. It's the best arrow for me personally. And I'm super happy that you guys believe me and were willing to send me another one so I could see. And yeah, it's been impressive. I will say
Well, and
that.
that's
My
what I
arrows
want your
fly good.
following to know, your viewers to know as well. Like, we're going to make things right for you at the end of the day. I mean, I'm not looking to keep score with people. I mean, what we want you to have confidence in Easton and know if you go to the store and buy Easton arrows, you're going to be getting the most quality product in the market. So, anybody out there, our customer to service partner, I think it's the best in the industry. And we do a great job. That team does a great job of keeping up with uh, all the quality metrics, and we report any quality concerns that we have are reported and gone through a system, and we have a quality team in house to make sure that we keep top-notch quality in the marketplace. So
Yeah.
I really
Well, and that's
appreciate it,
like a
Ron.
thing too. It's nice.
Go
Go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
No,
I was
you're
gonna
fine. Go
say it's
ahead.
nice buying American-made products, but a thing that I would like everyone to know is when you're buying Easton, you're also buying someone that actually has your back. Like Tyson did not know me before this. I'm not BSing anyone. I'm not very well known in the industry, and I'm a no one, and they made sure that I was happy. And they also, I heard you make a comment on a video one time, and it's like you said, replacing a few a small or you said a few dollars or a small amount of money is not worth an unhappy customer or something like that. And that's
Yeah.
huge. So that means when you pick this dozen of arrows off the shelf, you it's like an insurance because you know Easton's gonna have your back, and that's priceless.
Yeah, and you're. I mean, I wasn't familiar with your channel before. I'd actually heard alcoholics before. I don't know if it was just a saying or maybe I'd seen somebody talk about it, but I hadn't. I wasn't familiar with the page. But you know, we're all really nobodies, right? We're bow
Yeah.
hunters, and if you're a bow hunter, you're somebody to Easton. So
Yeah.
if you go out and have an issue or something happens with one of your arrows, I mean, look, let us know if you think it's something out of the ordinary. Give us a call, and that's what we're trying to catch. And in this instance, I mean, I could have told you, well, Ron, it looks like that got damaged in shipping. There's nothing I can do for you. You know, that's just not the game that we're going to play. I think very rarely is it that customers are trying to take advantage of somebody.
Yeah.
Um, you know that they're expecting something, and if that expectation doesn't come to fruition, then you know they let us know and we take care of it. And in 10 years, almost 10 years at Easton, I could count on one hand the number of customers that I felt like were actually calling to abuse some sort of a policy, right? It's just very rare, especially in our industry. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a lot of
Uh,
really good people. It's part of what I love about the archery industry is the people you get to surround yourself with. Um, yeah, I mean, I appreciate you saying that. We certainly do our best to make sure customers know that we are going to be there for them.
yeah. While I was talking to you too, when you're going to TAC, right, in Utah? Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm just plugging my charging cord in. It just popped up and said it was low battery.
You're
So,
good.
yeah, I'll be at the Salt Lake TAC for sure.
Okay.
We'll have a big booth there, and we'll have American flags everywhere. We kind of try to make a big deal every July. We've kind of deemed. It's actually with the help of my brother-in-law. We deemed July as American month. And
Yeah.
so we celebrate the whole month long. We don't just celebrate on the 4th of July. And so we'll be the whole booth will be American flags. We'll be making a big deal about being made in the USA the entire month of July. So if
That's
you guys want
awesome.
to do the same thing on your channel, I mean, we're kind of inviting all of our industry connections, all of our YouTube connections, anybody out there, celebrate America Month with us and celebrate American made products, whether it's archery related or not. But we're really trying to make a big movement with all American made brands to really highlight US made. And this will be our third year. Last year was kind of the first official year where we actually made
Okay.
merchandise and stickers and things like that. This will be kind of our second official year, but our third year really trying to push and promote and celebrate America Month.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mike, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, did you want to ask him about the arrow before he gets
Well,
off?
yeah, Ron and I were talking about it. My first interest in Easton's archery arrows was the Easton Pro Comp, and obviously that was a staple in your guys's in the last, say half decade for an arrow. Um, I guess the question was the X10 Parallel Pro the replacement for that arrow? Because
Yes,
they're
it is.
kind of like, yeah, okay, because they're kind of like gold on if you find them anywhere on eBay. I've considered buying them just to try them. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was just interested
Well,
in
if
that. We
they're
were
gold,
wondering.
I think I've got 2 dozen in my desk still. They're cut to my length, so you got to be a short-armed guy. But if they're gold, I might have some up for auction. But
I bet
yeah,
they'd go. I'm serious.
that's kind of I wasn't aware of that. But yeah, no, the Pro Comp was a fantastic arrow. I actually hunted with it at least for a season. I killed an elk with it. I think I Yeah, I killed my mule deer in the Ponsegont unit in Utah with Pro Comp as well. Um, the real it was a very good arrow. It was well received even internationally. We do a lot in the target world. What it was missing, there's certain processes we do have reserved basically for just our X10 arrow. So if you're not familiar with X10, it's the most winning arrow in archery history. Every Olympic medal ever has been won by Easton. And since the inception of X10, every arrow or every Olympic medal has been won specifically with the X10 arrow, every
Oh,
Olympic
that's
medal.
cool.
So that's
That's
gold,
insane.
silver, and bronze in men's and women's individual, mixed team, and in men's and women's team, every single medal.
Wow.
So, that's something that we take pretty seriously. And, when people are saying, oh, yeah, Easton isn't all it's cracked up to be, this is the most accurate arrow. It's like, well, let's see it win a medal. And
Yeah,
I
let's
Yeah.
look
kind
at
of
the
joke.
statistic sheet.
I kind of joke with people on that, even just industry connections. Like, oh, you think yours is better? Well, let's find out in
Yeah.
in Paris. The Olympics are coming up. That'll be your showcase. And
Yeah.
I think it was all but two competitors at the last Olympic Games showed up with X10s in their quiver as the
Wow.
arrow that they trust. So we take quality very seriously. So or in consistency very seriously and accuracy. So back to the pro comp, what we felt like that arrow was missing in the target world was some of the additional processing we do to consider something an X10. And so we essentially took a very similar layup of the Pro Comp and ran it through some processes to be able to qualify it as an X10. So the X10 Parallel Pro is going to be a higher performing Pro Comp in every metric, and I've I mean, it's not always been the arrow in my quiver because I've had some experimental 5.0s, but I've always had a sight and a sight tape set up for X10 Parallel Pros on my bow. I've never found an arrow that shoots more consistently out of my bow than that arrow.
Okay, that's
Now
pretty cool.
it is not cheap.
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
for guys that are looking for something budget friendly, that is not the arrow for you. You could potentially be disappointed because it is very expensive. But the guys I know shooting them do have great success and great luck and love the quality and consistency of them. So you might be able to save yourself some money off the gold pro comps, Mike, if you go with the X10 Parallel Pro, and you'll
Yeah.
actually be getting a further processed, higher spec product with the X10
Okay.
Parallel Pro as well.
Well, yeah, no, and last year I had shot Victory. I'd never played with Easton. Part of it was, I mean, for me, it was the price, and I was trying to see a weight, number. And I had actually, I think Ron had spoke to you about it. I'd ordered the Easton 5.0s from my local shop when they were kind of announced, when you guys had your video, and MFJJ and Dan all had their videos announced, and like, all right, this is the one. Like, we're gonna try it. And then honestly, Ron's experience, because he got a hold of them before uh my shop could even like confirm an order essentially. And I was like, all right, divert
Never mind.
plan. Like, I'll let Ron see what he does with these, and I'll buy them later down the road. And then him explaining this experience with you, I'm like sitting there like a fanboy, like, dude, this is awesome. Like, the company's treating you like this and talking to you, you know, treating you on a personal level, not because I've dealt with companies just trying to talk to them about donations for our archery shoot, and it's amazing the companies that will respond. And some are like, what's your address? And some are like, how many people go, all this stuff, and they want details. But like, that personal level that you gave Ron in this situation is super admirable. It's what we would expect from a company that holds himself as high, as the industry does for Easton. And so that's cool to see. But my faith in what Ron has gotten on the return end for shooting the 5.0s, and none of them have broke. And him going from, yeah, I don't know, I might go FMJ Max, the new ones, and then he's like, no, 5.0s that's what I'm hunting with. Like, I love them. And I'm like, all right, maybe it's time to give him a shot. So I'm definitely gonna look more into it for sure. And I like the 5.0. I'm not opposed to trying the X10 Parallel Pros, but being that I'm kind of set for a 5 millimeter already, um which that's not going to deter me. If I was to get some, it's an easy adjustment to make, but definitely going to put them on my radar to give a shot going forward is the 5.0s. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I love to hear it. I mean, to me, one of our goals is always when we have a chance to have an interaction with a customer, and what I tell customer service, all the customer service reps is, it's a chance to win a customer for life. So
Mhm.
even a negative experience, you can turn into a positive, because things happen, right? I mean, sometimes things get out the door that shouldn't. Sometimes, things happen. So we're always going to make it right with our customers. We're going to be there for them. It's not. I have bad customer service experience. I'll spare the names. Some of them aren't even outdoor related, but bad experiences where you're kind of baffled. It's like, okay, you're admitting that you did something kind of off, but you're not even willing to stand. Well, I'll give you 10% off your next order. It's like, what?
Yeah, thanks for
No,
saving the
like that's
taxes.
yeah, that's like an insult. Like, no. So, I mean, I just think it's important to treat customers in a way that makes them want to be a customer for life. I mean, I was relieved with this situation with Ron that we discovered what we discovered. But either way, whatever would have happened, I mean, what I wanted to do is treat him with fairness and respect, and how I would want to be treated if something happened to me. And you go work really hard. We all work hard with our jobs. Ron was texting me today. Well, I don't think I'll be able to sneak out. I'm finishing a job. When we all work hard, and
Right.
you take your money that you've hard earned, and try to figure out what to spend it on. And when you get disappointed and something that doesn't meet your expectations, I just think it's a company's responsibility to make it right and to do it with a smile on their face. And it's cool to hear from me that Ron's like, I'm a customer for life. And you're like, yeah, like that's cool that Easton did this, because it's really just how we've trained our people across the board at Easton to be. And I think at the end of the day, that's the way for long-term success, and the way for us to be around in 103 more years from today is by
Mhm.
treating
Yeah.
people that way. They'll be around
Right.
for the long haul. So,
Yeah, I think you guys are doing a good job, if I say so.
Yeah.
well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, my phone's dying too. I had to plug
He
it in
always
You
real
get a
forgets
quick
quick.
his
charger?
charger when we do this.
Yeah. I was charging all the way home. I'm like, hopefully this is enough.
Well,
So
cool. I mean, hopefully this is a link, to in that video you did before, where people can be guided to this and see kind of the
yep.
closeout of the situation. Because I mean, I find that important, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if people are like me, I go to YouTube for my information all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to get information on this. And so hopefully people are able to follow the video series through and kind of see that we got the situation resolved, and it turned out to be it's kind of a fluke deal, where something happened in transit, and we got you some new ones that are performing as good as you originally expected. So I appreciate the chance to just kind of represent Easton on this side, and appreciate you guys' support of the brand as well. So best of luck this season. I hope you guys kill some elk, and yeah, it's awesome. It's a cool brand too. Alcohol. I
Yeah.
think it's awesome. So it's really, really cool, guys.
Well, if Ron
All right,
hasn't
man.
extended the invite, I do want to say, if you ever want to come up here and look for a Rosie, you're obviously welcome to join us.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. That'd be fun. I could add that on the bucket list for sure.
Okay.
Take
All
care,
right,
man.
guys. Much
All right. Bye.
appreciated. Take care.
Yep.
See y'all.
See ya.
Later.